This one, after I listened to the panel discussion, I thought maybe I would go ahead and throw this one in too. It's just a question. What will happen if black men and women and black boys and girls under the age of 21 keep having babies that we, you, and I, they, he, she cannot, will not read to because we, he, she, they, you, me, sometimes don't read ourselves. Black babies that we bring into the world on drugs. Black babies that we don't know how to prepare a nutritious meal for because Mickey D's took the place of Mickey Mouse for food for thought, and the food that's bought is simply killing our black babies, and the house we brought our beautiful black babies to stop being the home it once was when grandma was just a rocking chair away. That was the day, but today the house we go to is where we go to get away from the Mickey Mouse BS on the J.O.B. The house does not anymore, have a front yard or a back porch where the beautiful black babies used to play. The house is actually a compartment called an apartment, but nothing is apart because everybody's thrown together while coming apart at the seams. It seems somebody had a plan for our black babies. Somebody said if you don't have a plan, somebody has a plan for you and your black babies. If you have them, and you do, because all the black babies belong to all of us, whether we mothered or fathered any of them. And it's hard to have a plan when you are depending on the man. And it's hard to have a plan when you're depending on the man to put a roof over your head and not demanding that he live up to the promise that something be put in your head. It's hard to have a plan when the TV runs 24/7 and the music the babies dance to came from the same people who brought drugs to LA. How do you spell relief? I sure don't spell it like some, CIA. Turn off the TV because it ain't spelled B-E-T either. Hold the black babies. Teach the black babies. Go to the schools and teach the black babies. If you are under 21, stop having the black babies if you know you cannot take care of them. If you are on drugs, stop dragging the black babies into this black and white photo that is a negative all of its own. Stop having the black babies if you don't have the means or the inclination to protect the black babies, and let's just see what will happen to the black babies that are always the most beautiful and most precious people in the world. Okay, lighting it up just a little bit, and then I'll close with the grandmother's poem. The sisters at Selena Salon. They had to be watching me like I was watching them. Sisters do this. Assessing, analyzing, categorizing, and sometimes supersizing. Looking at their shoes, their shapes, identifying their shame, drawing conclusions with scented magic markers without even knowing their names. The sisters down at the beauty shop. The stories they could tell set them apart. Every other sister talking about somebody's broken heart. Girl, I would have left. What did you do? Child, don't let that man take advantage of you. The sisters getting more beautiful at Selena Salon. I looked at their nails, their noses, their prayer-worn knees. Couldn't help but notice their shoes, their heels, their hose, their makeup, their weaves. Some sound asleep after a rough day of work. Others talking about women folk over at the church. Didn't Reverend preach Sunday before last? But why Sister Jones had to show her aspiration to sing? She ain't got no voice, poor little thing. Baby, sit here in my chair while I give you an edge. Your kitchen's a mess. You hear what I say? It's some hard-working sisters at the beauty shop. She pregnant again? Lord have mercy. When's she gonna marry that low-down Percy? Oh, Miss Janetta May passed away the other day. She was just 56. We done told her about them cancer 6. The sisters are actually unpredictable at the beauty shop. I watch the sisters. I gather they watch me, never having much to say myself. Oh, you say I'm nosy? I check out the books they brought in to read and wonder about the private lives they lead. What happened on the stories? Anybody know? Did Mrs. Chandler divorce Philip? Who was that with Bo? The music is soothing, soulful, steady, easy like Sunday morning. The sisters at Selena Salon. They have their stories and seem to have fun. Some get updos, buns, trims, and sets, all guaranteed to walk out looking their best. The sisters are the bomb, the bomb, the bomb. They keep coming and going down at Selena's Salon. This one is from, I did a book about grandmothers just to show the differences between grandmothering of yesterday and grandmothering of today. And we know what's happened to our neighborhoods over time as we moved away, when we had affirmative action and so-called equal rights, and we took different jobs, and we moved away, and sometimes we didn't go back home. And so we don't have the same relationships many times with families that we had before. Grandmothers used to quilt, and this book is titled From Grandmother with Love. Grandmothers used to quilt and sing songs and bake bread and play bingo with other grandmothers, but there isn't much time anymore, not today. Grandmothers have laptops in their laps, not babies. Grandmothers stop for fast food and drive in the fast cars and fast lanes. Grandmothers don't snap peas as much as we snap our fingers on Friday night. Grandmothers didn't get down, get down, get down, get down tonight, baby. But they did get down on their knees. Sometimes to scrub floors, but most of the time to pray. But it's not like that with most grandmothers these days. Grandmothers pray on the run, eat on the run, visit on the run, and just run to stay in shape. And grandmother, sometimes known as Ma dear, Mama, Meemaw, Big Mama, Mama, Granny, or just Grandma, had a look that said, don't. There was no talking back, no temper tantrums when you didn't get what you want. Grandmothers all the time loving, never ever pushing or shoving. Grandmothers thanking God every day, up with the sun and working all day. Cooking, cleaning, ironing, singing, praying. Grandmothers forgiving, building faith and finding time. Setting examples and making children mind, and it didn't matter whose children they were. Grandmother didn't scream when red Kool-Aid was spilled on her quilt or comforter. Grandmother was the comforter, asking other folk, what all the screaming about? Grandmothers watched the neighborhoods long before there was any neighborhood watch. They knew switches long before Latimer and Edison would dream of electrical switches. Grandmother didn't need a degree in astronomy to know the phases of the moon. She wasn't a meteorologist, but she knew what she was talking about when she said, it's gonna rain soon. I'm really going to close with this one. I did a presentation for a company a couple of weeks ago, and I knew that they were very hesitant. They wanted to read the content of the speech before I actually presented the speech, before I had even written the speech. And so I went ahead and put together something and sent it to them, but I ended up still trying to get part of my message in. They kept most of it, but I understood once I got there that it was a DOE nuclear facility, so I know they did not want me to get the people upset. I think somebody mentioned at the panels, on the panels discussion earlier this afternoon about, these are not my Negroes in the film, not our Negroes. Our Negroes are happy. So I realized that you just can't go in and upset happy Negroes, okay? I don't care if it is Black History Month, okay? I don't care if it is Black History Month. There are some things that people just don't want to hear. But I ended up writing this little fun poem, just sort of a compromise with them taking part of the speech away. It's called A Little Word Up, because their theme was sporting diversity, and I told them if you put a UP in, you won't just be sporting diversity, you will be supporting diversity, and it's much more long-lasting if you support something as opposed to just sporting it, because if you're sporting it, it just looks like you're doing it for show. I really thought they would have changed the speech once I told them that, but they kept their theme. I guess they were too far into it with their theme. So I said, well, I'm going to use that little UP, and they didn't want me to talk about you people, but that was what I wanted to do. So I made a poem out of the UP because it was just stuck with me. It's just a little word, that little word up. Think of starting your day. You first got to wake up. Don't hit the snooze button, brothers and sisters, get up. But if you do as the ancestors instructed, a prayer or two, you immediately send up. After you're showered and freshened up, you think of what you wear and maybe you'll dress up. You look at the clock and realize you better speed up, so you hurry up and eat breakfast and pray on cold mornings that the car will start up. You pick up some energy when you see the sun has come up, and you get stirred up when you reflect on the opportunities out there for you to move up. There's no doubt in your heart it will happen because grandma, the church, or somebody has lifted your name up. Even though you know that on that job you do have to sometimes kiss up. What you don't want to do is something stupid and mess up. You leave early enough in the morning so in traffic you are not held up. Certainly when things don't happen as planned, you don't give up. And the last thing you want to know is that your time is up, and not once in your life did you stand up and speak up. You can't keep up with the Joneses if your retirement you spend up. And please don't try to sweep up around somebody else's doorway if your own front yard you have not kept up. If you fill up your mind with knowledge, you can be assured of moving up if you keep on looking up and depending on God. Don't you know He's got the real hook up?